Hey world. So it's Gabrielle. I was sitting here. I love to study people and people watch. God reveals a lot to me just by listening to people mind and heart introduce themselves through their mouth gate. So what I notice is I meet a lot of parents, mostly females, who are single parents for different reasons. And most of the time, it'd be just their sinful ways having sex and they not married, or they chose to marry the wrong person without first seeking God, both genders. But they always say, I noticed that a lot of people, especially females, tend to say loosely and foolishly and ignorantly, being a single mom is hard. It's rough. They say the most negative, ignorant things about it. Why do I say these words? Because I can tell just by listening to most of you females that say this, that slang and talk like that, you're ignorant to the truth about going to God and seeking him first and applying his word on you being a single parent. One thing I do is I first like to ask people, were they molested in their childhood? Because if you was molested in your childhood and you were sexually tampered with, of course you may be prone, to start having sex and you just a teenager. I get it. Babies having babies. Okay, I get that part. Okay. And I get it that now you're addicted to sex and fornicating. Fornicating is when you having sex and you're not married to someone. So you find yourself sleeping around, fornicating with other people, guys, because you got a severe identity crisis. And you may start out in your teenager years doing this or entering into your adulthood doing this. But here's the thing. There comes a point in your life as an adult, if you know about God or was raised in church, whatever your scenario is with your background and upbringing, you as an adult female parent, a male parent, common sense needs to kick in with you. Now that you got children, you a baby with babies, or a baby, you've been on Maury Povich show, all this other great stuff. Common sense needs to kick in with you to choose to run to God as soon as possible before your baby, that baby, ends up being in a maximum jail cell prison. You end up mishandling and mistreating that baby or those children. You end up getting a lot of calls from the school because they done bully somebody, or whatever. You find out they done joined the gang, or they ended up experiencing with their genders with same sex, get into lesbianism, homosexuality, you want to be a transgender, or they end up starting off having sex too, doing worse than you, all because you as a single parent you keep rejecting, neglecting, and abandoning God. That's what it is. Because God says he'll never leave you nor forsake you. One thing God has taught me and showed me, he said parenting is not hard, even being a single parent for a season. For a season meaning if you desire a godly marriage. Notice I didn't say a satanic, religious, or carnal, or fleshly, evil, worldly marriage. I said a godly marriage because marriage is God's institution, not Satan, not your denomination. Hold on one second. Not Satan, not your denomination, not your opinions, not that motivational speaker. Marriage came from God. Okay? Parenting is not bad. And one thing I learned from God is when you choose to have sex and you're not married, you make parenting bad as a female or male. You made it bad. You overwhelm yourself. You're overwhelming yourself. And then especially if you keep sleeping around or having sex with the same toxic person that's not in God's will, and you keep spreading your legs like butter, you keep opening them eagles wide with wings and letting folks get between and behind your legs and bend you over, all because they saying what you like, and you won't let God heal you in your identity. You won't let God deliver you from a severe identity crisis. It's bad enough you can't even manage one child. You won't even choose to be loved to that one child. And you stay up here getting pregnant by the same narcissistic, toxic male from hell that God didn't even send you. This person beating on you or doing whatever they're doing, cheating on you, done slept with you and your mom or your kinfolks, whoever. They done ran through the bloodline. Hitting and quitting everybody, smashing and dashing. And you still being they trashing. Okay? What am I saying to you, especially as females? You make parenting, being a single parent, hard and overwhelming when you keep opening your legs or having sex and you're not married. When you entertain toxic males that God didn't send to you. When you keep choosing to raise a child according to your frustration or your anger and you won't see God, and God keeps reaching out to you trying to help you. When you don't pray and seek God and turn from your wicked ways, you as a female or male, you make parenting or being a single mother hard. Because really, to be truthful, you need to seek God on how to become a godly mother. You need to seek God on how to strategically pray over that child. You need to seek God and face what you need to face about you being in sin, because that's what it is. If you're not married and you're having sex with someone, you keep popping babies or you had a baby by them, they're not the problem. It's you. You, boo-boo. You the problem. You know you're a problem. And you're probably going to do it again. You're probably going to do it again. You know, and so that's why I tough love some of you single female parents, because it's like the male is not making you have sex with him. He didn't put a gun to your head. He didn't beat you to bloody and say, give it to me, and rip your panties off of you. No, some of you go to clubs half naked, got your breasts, your gifts all unwrapped. What do I mean when I say your gifts unwrapped? Meaning your breasts, your booty cheeks out. We know the color of your butt cheeks, everything. We see all your goodies, your camel toe, you name it. Even when you go to the gym, you're dressed like a stripper. I mean, that's a strip club for that if you want to get that kind of attention, but the gym is for serious people who want to work out and get their body and right together and for their health. You in there for the wrong reasons. Some of you need deliverance from the spirit of Jezebel. You know, you're very Jezebelic. You like to seduce men and you want them to see what you got because you got daddy and mommy issues. You're a little girl in an adult body still. You ain't no woman. You just a little girl looking to play house with somebody and popping babies. And then when all hell break loose and then you got to experience the consequence for your sin with these toxic males, you want to say, oh, his daddy ain't crap. You know what y'all be saying. No, you the same way as his dad. You worse because you want to point fingers. No, point the finger at you. You open your legs. You chose to come into agreement with opening your legs and let somebody hit that and split that or whatever. And now your name all over the neighborhood, in the ghetto, whatever hood you in. And you just keep doing it. So my thing is, I've learned a lot listening to these single parents. And I'm like, one thing God showed me, he said, no, parenting is not hard. It's not. We make things hard as adults when we do sinful actions. That's when stuff becomes hard and seems impossible. But that's why God said in his word, seek him in his face. And if you seek God as a single female parent or a male parent, which rarely 98% of y'all choose to do, it would not be impossible. You wouldn't be losing rest. You wouldn't be frustrated. You wouldn't be abusing a child. You wouldn't be mishandling them in public, causing guilt, shame, and embarrassment on that child. You would be letting them hang out with anybody and everybody all times of the night. If you was to choose to keep God as a root, source, and foundation, you could be a godly mother, a godly father. Anybody could be a parent. That's the problem in the world. If you don't want to have children, then stop going against God's order for children. Stop having sex when you're not married. Make the world a better place. It's simple. Make a choice to either continue to add to the demonic problem or become a biblical solution in this world and make it a better place for our children, which is our future. So that's what I've learned, because these single parents and these adults that I be meeting who have one child or many children with one or either many different people, and it never fails, most adults, that I come across have children with multiple people. That's sad. That's shame on you. That's stupidity, because you got all these seed out here sown. They don't even know if they related. They could be at war with each other in a gang or whatever. They could be at all with each other, bullying each other in school, or they could end up even accidentally doing incest with each other because they don't know that that's their sibling, because you keep sleeping around as a male, getting tail from Jezebel females who are immoral or have a severe identity crisis, don't love God, don't love themselves, have yet to encounter God's love by their choosing. And y'all keep just bouncing around sleeping with each other like this is just a public orgy, and the kids suffer. That's stupidity. That's stupidity on your behalf as an adult. And then you want to point fingers at each other or say this child is so bad, or good God. Well, guess what? In case you didn't know, single parent, that child don't get a say so in what ways, personalities, and bad behavior or demons it get from you and your bloodline. That's your fault, because you and that toxic male or that toxic female, y'all didn't choose to break curses and wait till marriage. So this child is already coming into curses because y'all chose to fornicate. That's one curse on the child. then y'all ain't dealing with bloodline curses in y'all family bloodlines. That's more curses this child is inheriting in the womb because of both of y'all toxic, sinful, religious selves. And yes, I said religious. So what am I saying to you, short but sweet? I love that God teaches me stuff just by sitting back and looking at people. The more I look at adults, the more I'm learning that what godly wisdom and understanding is, not being funny, you all function a lot like simpletons and in stupidity and like fools, like Proverbs says in the book of Proverbs in the Bible. A lot of you adults really do function in stupidity and foolery and like simpletons, like you don't have a brain and like God is obligated, or like it's just life is so life. See, when God created stuff, it was not hard. It was not impossible. It wasn't overwhelming. Everything was good. Things became overwhelming, hard, tough, difficult, impossible when we chose to go against God's laws and principles. God says sex is only for marriage. Y'all out here having sex with whoever, saying it's my body, I could do what I want to. It's my life, I could do what I want to. Well, then don't complain about this child that you're going to be having. Don't complain about they nasty attitude and them cussing and saying stuff, or them getting caught up into pornography, or them getting in the gang or doing the same things you do. They inherited your ways too. So you're facing you in that child, in and through that child that God chose to send to you. The children are blessings, but your sins are what's causing curses on that child. So I just want to share that with you all. My name is Gabrielle. Hey world. Something that I learned, and this is why I tough love the adults that God showed me to know. Hit them with tough love, because they keep on premeditating sin. They keep, entertaining lust within themselves, being drawn away by the lust of their flesh, the lust of their eyes, the pride of life. They're not putting up no resistance, but then they want to point fingers and act like the people they had sex with is bad, and oh, I got to deal with their mom, and their mom is a witch, and oh, she ain't no good. She just want everything I got. And the first thing I hit both male and females with, when they begin to tear down and bash the people they had sex with and got children with, I said, well, you chose them. So what does that say about you? And see, they get quiet. And someone be like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that says a lot about you. When you a female or male and you sleeping with opposite gender, and then you experience the consequences for your sins, and you want to start tearing them down and talking about them, you're worse than them, because you chose to open up your legs to them. You chose to put your mouth on their private part, and that's not your husband. That's not your wife. You chose to do a threesome with them. You chose to let them run a train on you, and you got pregnant, don't know who's who. That's your fault. That's stupidity on you. That's insanity on you. That means you have a severe identity crisis. You don't love you. So how can you love your seed that comes through you? You need to encounter God's love and let God love on you and help you with your severe identity crisis and deliver you and heal you and bring you out and through. So that's my thing on that with single parenting, single mom, single dad, because I'm more so here with the females about, it's hard being a single parent. No, it's not hard. Just like it wasn't hard for you to open your legs and sleep with somebody who you're not married to. It wasn't hard for you to do all them sex positions and put your mouth on this person, or let them put their mouth on you. It's not hard. You made being a single parent hard by you not choosing to obey God's laws and principles. And then if you keep doing the action and you won't choose to let God deal with you and break you out of that stronghold or the strong man of rebellion, or how you inherited that from your bloodline because your mom or your dad the same way, it's going to be a journey. Because the more you keep popping babies, or the more you keep sleeping with the same toxic person you got a baby by, all you're doing is giving more power to Satan, glorifying Satan, and your flesh is becoming more dominant to the point where you're overwhelming yourself and you're taking it out on their blessing, them children. They have nothing to do with the sin that you chose to do for them to come through as a blessing. The children are blessings. Your sin is the cursings. And when you don't choose to go to God while you carrying that baby as a female, or when you find out she's pregnant as a male, when you don't choose to go to God and seek him on how to break curses off that baby that y'all didn't deal with, that baby's going to suffer. Those children are going to suffer. And they're going to pick up your sinful, evil, toxic ways as well. They don't get a choice in what they can and cannot get. They don't get to say so in that. Their life is temporarily in your hands and your household. So that's my mindset on that, what I've learned from God, to keep it short but sweet, about these single parents, especially the females who say, oh, being a single mom is hard. was stop doing what it takes to overwhelm yourself concerning parenting foundation. Because that's the thing. When you're not in position or anointed to be a godly mother, notice I didn't say a carnal mom or parent. No, a godly mother, because children need godly parenting. Not fleshly, angry, frustrated, abusive. They don't need that kind of parenting. Or carnal. They don't need worldly parenting. They need godly parenting foundations. Biblical parenting foundations. Why? Because God is perfect, not you. Look at what you keep doing. And God keeps letting you breathe his spirit. So anyway, that's what I want to share with you, because since you're always saying as a single parent it's hard being a single mom or a single dad, well then stop doing the actions that prematurely that's going to overwhelm you, make you insane, drive you to do demonic stuff against that baby and abuse it, mishandle it, and mistreat it out of your frustration and anger and hurt, regret and resentment. That baby did not ask you to open your legs and let somebody release whatever in you. You chose to do that. The condom broke, whatever happened. Your tube supposed to be tied, whatever happened. You wasn't married. You in sin fornicating with somebody, or you slept with somebody's spouse, whatever your case may be. When you choose to do actions prematurely and against what God created, his order for family, you overwhelm yourself. You make being a single parent hard. It was never God's will for you to be a single parent. When you chose to have sex and you're not married, you opened that door for you to become and be a single, carnal, satanic, evil, wicked, whatever kind of parent you are. That's not godly. The opposite of a godly parent, you open that door to become every other thing opposite of a godly parent. And that's on you if you don't seek God and let God help you and let God heal you and bring you out and through, so those children don't turn out worse than you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask me. I'm Gabrielle, number love. So I say to you single parents, if you're single, give God a try, let him help you, or else the world is not going to be a better place and your children will turn out worse than you. And the only one going to be to blame is you. They didn't ask for that, but they're here. Why not let God help you? I mean, come on, you got to start somewhere. Until next time, number love.